Welcome to another VisiQuake Chalk Talk. Okay, let's jump right in. This is part 3 of a 3-part series. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of role-based personalization in business analytics and why it's so critical to achieving peak business health. So let's start over here. First, I want to talk about things that really matter, things that are absolutely paramount to adoption. Design, information architecture, and how data and visual perception is all connected. User profiling, user stories, what they need, why they need it, when they need it. Data science, all about what's underneath the visualization. How is the data prepared? What are the derived intelligence? How is it enriched? What are the statistics? And then gamification is really critical to adoption, and we're probably going to do a whole separate video on that. So one of the themes that we're going to talk about here as the backdrop before we get into it is, as data goes from its rawest form, from its rawest insights, up and it becomes information, information leads to knowledge and it creates wisdom. Another way to look at this is, as we consume and reason and learn and engage and act with the data and hopefully continuously improve. I'll talk about it in the context of decisioning sophistication. So from descriptive, what has happened, to diagnostic, why did it happen, to predictive, what could happen, to prescriptive, what action could be taken, and then ultimately to cognitive, and what is the best action to take. And there's a lot of great technology going on right now in artificial intelligence and machine learning to make information more cognitive, to have the information continuously improve in the context of how users act on it. In the decision hierarchy, typically the executive team sets the objectives. What do we want to achieve in the enterprise? Management's role. How are we going to achieve our goals? And from analysts to workers, are we doing it right? Are we on time? Are we on budget? How can we improve? Again, as you go from the operational to the tactical to the strategic. So let's go through some examples here from CEO to CFO, portfolio workers, power users, doctor, nurse, people that are out in the field. And then ultimately we'll talk about this in the context of a health consumer or patient. So obviously with the CEO, it's important, they have to come in and kind of have the cup of coffee experience. What is the overall enterprise health? What are the top KPIs, whether it's balanced scorecard, strategic imperatives, but there should be a metric, target versus actual. It should have some color. It should provide some information. We're improving, we're not improving. And of course, all of this would be drillable. Things like ticker tapes and large information graphics, because we all know executives are busy. They go from meeting to meeting. The CFO, really more the number cruncher. Getting into the financial health, obviously they also have that window into, because they're part of the C-suite, but from budget to cost to margin to cash and ratios and top KPIs that blend operational, tactical, strategic. This is like the Bloomberg workstation. They have to have the entire enterprise, transparency, the entire enterprise at their fingertips. Again, all drillable, very important that all of this be consumed and interrogated irrespective of the role. But that first user interface has to be something that's going to lead them to the quickest path to action. In the context of a portfolio worker, this could be a biller, a collector, a case manager, anybody that has a basket of accounts, transactions, claims, encounters. The question is my portfolio performing? In the knowledge worker, all of the portfolios of the line staff add up to this one, right? What do I need to do today? Who do I need to contact? What actions are needed? This is the portfolio. Obviously, they spend a lot of time in their portfolio going from high to low, drilling, engaging with data, very deep. Now let's talk about the power user. This could be the statistician or the quant, the actuary, the informaticist. This is, they typically have a console, a workbench. It's very sophisticated. It's about predictions and patterns, trends, clustering and forecast, and then getting into sensitivity analysis. So whether it's regression analysis or net revenue modeling, engaging with statistical interfaces like PMML or RScript, it's very important that they have a sophisticated view of the enterprise, and they can interrogate, and they can zoom, and they can slice, dice, chop, crop. Now let's talk about the doctor or nurse, the person that's, again, in the field seeing 22 patients a day. Obviously, they can't deal with something like this because they're seeing 22 patients a day. So this has to be literally a dashboard in this use case. Patients. These are, in degrees of criticality. Rapid insights. What are the critical alerts? Give me prescriptive actions. Tell me what is actionable. They need to do things in 5-minute increments in between coffee breaks and lunch in many cases. And again, that's in the middle of their day. If they have time to sit down, they can get into any of these experiences as they're analyzing maybe a caseload of patients. But in the middle of their day, they need those insights to be very crisp. As it relates to the health consumer or the patient, take for example, like a Fitbit example, it's all about my health. What are the KPIs that I need for my health? So blood glucose, calories, where am I with my pedometer and steps, weight, those types of things. Has to be a very clean and simple user interface and experience. It has to be frictionless. It's got to be very intuitive and easy to use. And it has to be built typically by, so the criticality of getting input in user focus groups is absolutely key. Okay, so that's it. That's all we have today. Thanks for joining another VisiQuate Chalk Talk, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.